Hey guys, it's another walk to work video, and I want to talk about the importance of playtesting. Obviously, we know playtesting is important for tournament, and with YCS Texas and London coming up, that's two reasons to do some heavy playtesting sessions over the next few weeks. So, obviously, playtesting lets you learn your combos, lets you learn what cards are good in your deck, bad in your deck, things that you can switch out, things to main, things to side. Blah blah blah, but it also lets you learn how the other decks operate. So if I was playtesting for an event, I would playtest against, and I would playtest with as well, even if I wasn't running them. Shadows, obviously, Burning Abyss, both variants of that. Obviously the rank up version and the Jeff Jones Many Traps version. I would also, I'm not going to go through all of them, I'm just going to go through the ones that I think are going to be the most popular. So Tellarknights, I think they'll be obviously quite popular still. People are going to want to play those. Yugioh, you should probably play against that. Obviously they get their structure deck in like 2 weeks, so you know, it's trying to be cheap now. Fire Fist are probably going to see a resurgence with the frequent Wolfmarks. Now, I'd also test against Monarchs, because I think Monarchs have got quite a good matchup against some things. And I want to test out a couple of different versions of Monarchs, but yeah, so those are some of the main decks that I'd probably test against. And then obviously I test against your rogue decks as well. Obviously nowadays you can do that all out online. I mean, you can never guarantee the quality of your opponents, but if you've got a small player base, or you've got a player base of players who don't have those decks, then testing online is really good for that. I mean, when it comes to testing online and testing in person, I think a good mix of both's quite good. Because obviously if you test online, then you come up against the random things that people might put in, and you're like, oh, that's a pretty good idea, but it's also got the cons of, obviously, you can never guarantee the quality of your opponent. Not that I'm saying you can guarantee the quality of your opponent on YCS, or even in a playtest group. When testing in real life, obviously you know which are the best players in your area, so you know who the best people to test against are, best people to come to it for advice and whatnot. But again, like, the card pool might be small. Like where I live, the card pool is quite small. There's not a lot of meta stuff running around. I don't think anyone's got any meta decks, really. So yeah. I mean, obviously, I'd like to do a mix of both, which I'll be doing this. I mean, I'm just got locals, but I'll be doing a mix of both. And then obviously there's a few guys from my area going to the YCS, so I'll give them a hand and play test with them for that. So, yeah. I also want to talk about another little interesting thing that me and one of my good friends Ryan came up with a few years ago for play testing. Actually, I don't know if we came up with it or whether we read it online. I can't remember. Whatever. It was a long time ago, and it was just an idea we were bouncing about each other, and that's playtesting with. Sorry, I went onto my first. Playtesting with all of the cards as public knowledge. So playing with your deck and your hand face up, basically. So your opponent can see everything that you draw and everything that you've got. Yeah, but you've got to be honest with each other and play as you would. And we found the only way really to get that to happen was if you explained your card choices in this situation. So obviously, if you set traps face up, but you said I'd set 2 face downs, and then your opponent would respond, they'd be like, oh well, I'd play this because you've got 2 face downs, or I'd just push through because you've got 2 face downs, because that's the type of player I am. But then explain every single card choice to your opponent, because that way you can sort of learn their mindset and learn what players are the best for their deck. There's another way of helping you learn how each deck works and whatnot. So yeah, tell me what you think about that playtesting idea, guys. Give it a shot. I know back in the day it helped us a lot. We did it quite a lot when we do Light Swan format. did it during Blackwing format and Dark Strike Fighter format and stuff like that. So yeah, you know, pop a comment in the box, have a go with that playtesting idea. Obviously, I don't think you can do it online. I think they're sort of set, but yeah, like I say, check that out. It's pretty interesting. You can, like I say, you can learn a lot. So yeah, that's the importance of playtesting, really, in my opinion. I think it's more about, as much about learning other people's decks and other people's ideas as your own, because no one's a complete duelist. Nobody can pick a deck up and make it work instantly. You know, they've got to know at least some theory behind it. So if you play test, you can learn how your deck plays, how your deck interacts with other decks, how other players interact with your other deck, with your deck. Obviously, you can learn side decking techniques. You know, sit down with your friends, build like a 20 card side deck, or build an infinite card side deck. You know, and take account of whichever you want your side in. Play with a infinite card extra deck as well. See which ones you make. See what, you know. Really, just come up with all these different things to play test with, different ideas to play test with. And I guarantee, even after a week of this, 2 weeks of this, you know, you'll already be a better player. I know back when I was big on the scene, I mean, I'm basically just a noob now, but I know when I was big on the scene, that was how I used to play test, with a massive like side deck and extra deck. Just basically had a folder full of side and extra deck cards and just pulled them out. As and when what we needed. I think it was a little bit less important before synchros, essentially. Once synchros came out, you sort of needed obviously all those cards, but before that it wasn't as important. During sort of like pre-Duelist Genesis Dark Arm days and Gladiator Beast format, and even like Spawn format as well. So those 3 formats, it wasn't important. So yeah, anything before then, coming up to then. But as soon as like Duelist Genesis got released, then that was when everything changed, and there were so many different options after that. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you do to play a test differently. I'm always open to learning new ideas. And thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, because we've got a lot more videos coming up. I'm going to try and get a lot more deck profiles this week. I do apologise for not getting them yet.